Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about A Knight's War. Long ago, a prophecy foretold the rise of a chosen one, a woman with fiery hair who would reshape the world. But the gods, fearing her power, whispered into the hearts of men, urging them to burn any child who fit the prophecy. And so, innocence was lost as the innocent were consumed by the flames of fear. This is the opening monologue to the film, and I think this is a great setup to this world's dread and stakes. Quick heads up, this review may contain the occasional minor spoiler as I talk about the structure of the film, but I'll do my best to avoid them because this is an incredible indie film made in someone's backyard. A Knight's War begins with Bodhi having a dream where he witnesses a red-haired girl and her mother, Hope, burned alive. From here, the film follows a quest-like structure. Save the chosen one, Avalon, while traveling through a hellish realm bound by prophecy. The narrative unfolds through repeated deaths, magical talismans granting up to 100 lives, and defeating 3 lords for their magical stones to return home. This movie is like an 80s dark fantasy film like Conan the Barbarian, Dragon Slayer, and Clash of the Titans. There's a cult tower, demon disciples, a portal opening, and so much more. There's action and there's gore. I like the blood splatters and bloody prosthetic hands and heads. It makes the movie feel more tangible and like a true 80s production that doesn't rely on tech or CGI like modern movies. I love the armor and costumes for each character, including our boss villains. The witches looked cultish and like they were plucked out of a Dark Souls game. The gatekeeper looked like he was pulled out of Berserk. Everyone looks the part in this movie. The aesthetic of this film is like looking at a game cover of the Elderscrolls Arena, Might and Magic, Eldenring, Dark Souls, or A Bard's Tale. The craftsmanship of this movie really sells the dark fantasy atmosphere. Directed by Matthew Ninaber and starring his brother Jeremy, I am incredibly impressed with how much they accomplished in this film. They built the sets for this movie in their backyard by hand. They built miniatures of towers and rocky lands to help establish the setting. Their resourcefulness and vision are incredible. That said, as much as I enjoyed the movie, it's clear that the budget constraint limited that vision. Some of the sets and miniatures feel overused. Some additional set variety would have helped. I think I saw the same shot of the tower like 3 or 4 times. I also think this film could have used a map of sorts to help us understand the layout of the hellish landscape. When I'm playing a game and I have a quest, I always look at my map. If I need to get from point A to point B, then I'll pick out the best route for my situation. I think having some context like that in this film would have made the quests feel a little more impactful and like the characters weren't just aimlessly wandering. A sense of scope is what this film was missing. Additionally, for the 2 or 3 times where CGI is used, it looks a little cheesy. It's Bollywood level graphics. I don't think it severely takes away from the film in any way, but it's certainly noticeable. I think where a higher budget would have helped this film shine a little bit better is by hiring a different actress to play Avalon. Don't get me wrong, Kristen Castor looks the part in this role, but I just found her line delivery to be a little lacking. She didn't have the gravitas I think she needed. Some of the issue lies with her character writing and dialogue. She's a very cynical nihilist, but the actions she takes makes her come off more like a Her dialogue feels a little forced and repetitive. She has a great setup for her character arc, it just feels like she teleported from point A to point B instead of gradually changing and growing. I guess it's all in line with her character and her story, I just think she was missing the X factor that this role needed. For example, I think Jeremy Ninaber is great. He's got a deep voice and a solid on-screen presence. I think his character writing could have been a little bit better, but I like that he grounded the viewing experience for me. Despite getting knocked down over and over again, he always gets back up and places his faith in God. It's admirable, but I think this is where introducing more side characters or even just casual minor villains in between bosses would have really helped build him and Avalon up as good warriors. Either way, as a questing paladin, I think Jeremy gives a sincere performance. The other actors who I think were good but not amazing are Matthew Ninaber as William, Bodhi's brother, and Shane Nicely as the Keeper. I think their biggest issue is dialogue. Sometimes it feels a little clunky, and I think as a result, the dialogue delivery suffers. Again, it's not bad, but sometimes it's noticeable and feels a little out of place. Since this movie has a lot of dialogue, I think a higher budget for some seasoned actors could have taken this movie up notches. However, at the end of the day, A Knight's War is a grim, dark, mystical morality play. The prophecy, sacrifice, revenge, and the corrupting power of grief are the thematic bedrock of the film. I absolutely love this and I bought into it. Avalon's cynicism and misandry are perfectly juxtaposed against Bodhi's unwavering belief in the light and free will, even amid suffering. I think the tone of this film is unrelenting and serious, and I liked it. Enhancing the tone, I really like the score. It's drum heavy and feels very cultish. It reminds me of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when Mola Ram is ripping out a heart and the drumming is intense. There's a lot of frenetic war drums like that in this movie and it worked for me. I also appreciated the lighter orchestral pieces. They were exactly what I would imagine and expect from a fantasy medieval movie. I also liked the sound design and thought it was good at building tension and adding to the dark fantasy vibe. Whether it was witches giggling, swords swooshing, or ghostly whispers, they contributed to the vibe and the visuals on screen. This movie felt like a video game or even a board game come to life. A Knight's War is a rough gem, but it's a gem nonetheless. It's not perfect, but it's passionate, gritty, and brimming with vision. The Ninaber brothers swung for the fences, and while the budget couldn't always keep up, their creativity, ambition, and love for dark fantasy absolutely shine through. I respect the hell out of this movie. From the handcrafted sets to the old school practical effects to the heavy themes of sacrifice, faith, and revenge, it delivers on what it sets out to do. If you're a fan of sword and sorcery, if you like your fantasy grim, bloody, and adventurous, or if you just want to support bold indie filmmaking, then I think A Knight's War is 100% worth your time. I'd love to see more dark fantasy films in this vein, and I can happily recommend it. Thank you for listening to my review of A Knight's War. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.